Back in 2021, I started a new job that required me to travel extensively for training. So I needed a laptop. And I figured if I was going to have a laptop, I could buy one for about $200 or maybe get an older one out of a thrift store for $50, $60, and would be good enough. Except then I thought, what if I make my own laptop? A few years back, Raspberry Pi was still at the top of the game, and someone came out with something called an Atomic Pi, which was an x86 based CPU mini computer. And a lot of people brought it out and said, well, can this run Windows 10, which is the hot new thing at the time? And that's the kind of news that you'd find on it. Can the Atomic Pi run Windows 10? And the answer, shorthand, is yes, it can. Not very well, but it can. But it was an x86 based machine. Now, the reason why I use the Atomic Pi instead of a Raspberry Pi is not much more powerful, but I wanted that x86 base because even though I knew I'd be running Linux, I thought to myself I might be able to make an old school DOS machine, which was my original idea. That didn't go anywhere, so I decided to build a laptop instead. Well, with that in mind, I went around and I looked at other people's ideas, and I found myself at Hackaday. And of course, they had a whole list of cyberdecks, as they're called, custom-made laptops built for the sprawl. Well, I looked at all of those people's laptops and thought to myself, wow, these laptops, cyberdecks, are amazing, and I could never make anything like that. And then I realized I wasn't supposed to make anything like that. The whole point of a cyberdeck is not to go to a shop and buy a laptop that everybody owns, that everybody has. The whole point of it is to buy it, buy the parts for it, to make your own and to make it yours. And back in the day, you could do that with a Commodore 64 and an Amiga by modifying the case and putting some pods in it, some quick reset buttons, and stickers. Stickers were always the best way to modify any of your personal stuff, but everyone was exactly the same. But now you can build your own laptop out of multiple components with different power in different cases, whether they're 3D printed or purchased or built out of cardboard, it doesn't matter. And so I took the time and I went online and I had an idea of what I wanted to build and how I wanted to build it. And so I bought the parts for it, mostly from Amazon. There'll be a list in the description down below if you want to see what I used. And then I took the time and I put it together, and I 3D printed some extra parts for it. And then I modified it as time went on. On my first trip, I couldn't get access to the internet because the Wi-Fi wasn't strong enough, and I had no Ethernet connector. So I did add more parts to it later. But overall, it turned out fairly well, and I was very happy with it, and I still use it whenever I need a portable computer that has access to my data that's not my phone. So in the end, we have to ask how everything fared. And, well, this is the mostly completed product. There's still a lot more that I want to do to this, but it is an ongoing project, so it is functional. But at the same time, there's some stuff that needs to be added. Some of the stickers are coming loose. I did add some stickers just for fun to kind of make it my own. Nothing too spectacular. I was originally going to put stickers on it as I traveled, but with only limited travel, it is what it is. So to answer the original question, what did TSA think about my laptop? Well, honestly, they didn't care. There was some curiosity about it. I did have to open it because it was electronic, but overall, it didn't cause me any problems at all. How did the laptop itself fare? Well, not too bad, actually. It's DIY, put it together yourself, so I had to get a mouse for it. I went with a trackball mouse, very simple, very easy. With all the components, just like everything else, it's links in the description. I have a connector here and a plug here as well. So it's not a completely open and shut case, as it were. You do actually have to do some things to get it to work. And I know that's on here somewhere. There it is. Alright, but we take this little guy, plug everything in where it's supposed to go, It does boot up off of an SD card. The 3D printed frame wasn't measured exactly. I did try to use calipers to measure it, so it does have some issues with it being a little bit stretched in some places and a little bit loose in other places. This has, of course, caused a crack down here in the corner where it kind of dried out, and pressure on the screen didn't cause it to pop loose, but it isn't too damaged. How much did it survive? Well, it took 3 trips with me on airplanes, and then it drove with me over the course of 4 days, over 2,700 miles across the United States, where I used it to access the internet at different hotels without any kind of problems or issues. Some of the things I added to it were a Ethernet cable extension here, in case I needed one, which I have used a couple of times. And then I added a Wi-Fi expander here in the back that I basically just put on the top of the case, and you can't really see them from here. You can kind of see part of one down here. But their Wi-Fi antenna is added on there so that it has Wi-Fi access if necessary. Question then is, how well does it run? Well, it runs okay. It does everything that a teeny tiny Atomic Pi laptop would be able to do. It can run The Binding of Isaac fairly well. As for other games, it's hit or miss. It depends on how the game was programmed. I won't bother loading up one right now, only because Steam does give me trouble on here because of the way I have it installed. Otherwise, I just use it when I need it. It's not really a gaming laptop. It's there for when I need a computer and I don't feel like dealing with my phone, or I have to have access to MacLeod or anything like that. And that's how it works. So it's not perfect. It could use some love. It can use a few upgrades. But other than that, it works pretty okay. Keyboard is nice and clicky, and it folds up and closes up and doesn't take up a lot of space. A little bit taller than your normal laptop, but I like the chunkiness. I like how solid it is. The case naturally likes to just sit and not move too much. No matter what I put it on, it wants to sit exactly like this. This part can give me a little bit of trouble when I'm trying to type, but as long as I'm not doing too much, and again, it's not a gaming laptop, it's not for long-term use, it's simply there so that I can do things that I need to do on it and then move on. So overall, I'm very, very happy with how it came out, and I encourage all of you to take the time and see if you can put together your own little cyberdeck, whether it be inside of a travel case or a pizza box or anything that you'd like to make it out of, even a 3D printed case. There's no limit to what you can do with this.